How to make a classic tomato sauce. Hi guys, welcome back to the masterclass. My name is James Howe, this is Chef at Home. Today we're going to be covering our fifth and final mother sauce, which is a classic tomato sauce, before we head on to our practice dishes. If you've been following this series so far, you'll know just how important it is that we know these basic sauces and we know where it can take you in terms of the other sauces that are born from this basic recipe. Before we get on to the lesson, just a little bit of housekeeping to get through. In case you hadn't noticed, trying a little bit of a different setup, so let me know what you think in the comments below. If you don't like it, we'll go back to the other. But just like you're investing in yourself and trying to learn how to cook, I'm trying to learn how to do this better so you get the best possible videos. So please do let me know what you think. And for first timers, if you can get to the end of this video and you've learnt just one thing, please hit that like button. If you've learnt two, hit subscribe. Sounds like a fair trade to me. But anyway, let's get on with it. Alright, so the tomato sauce. We're going to be using this pan just here, it's on a medium heat, and we're going to start off by melting another butter. Next up, we need to fry some belly pork. If you're vegetarian, then you can skip this part, but I'm making it my mission to show you the classic recipes, so I'm going to stick to what's in the good book. So we're just going to chop that down into lardons, and that's going to go into the butter. We're just going to fry that off and get a nice light browning on it. Alright, so moving on to our vegetation. We've got some celery, garlic, onion, carrot, thyme and bay leaves. So you'll know this next bit by now, won't come as a surprise. I need to make a mirepoix. So that's onion, celery, carrot, all into the pan. Then while that's sauteing for a couple of minutes, grab a couple of bulbs of garlic. These are quite small, so I'm going to grab 3. Just give them a crush and a peel. And then just a quick julienne. Then in they go. Then we can add our thyme and our bay leaf. As soon as it hits the pan, the smell is fantastic. Now let's add a couple of minutes of just sauteing and getting nice and soft. A tablespoon or 2 of flour. Now as this mixes in, this will be very familiar to you again, that we're making a roux. Now while that roux is slowly cooking out, we can chop down our tomatoes. You can take the seeds out and the skin off if you really want to. It's a bit of a judgment call. I personally don't think it's necessary. I think you get a lot more bang for your buck if you leave them on. It doesn't actually mention in Escoffier's book whether you need to do that or not. Yeah, I just think it's a judgment call. One thing it does help to do, if you leave the seeds in, is that it helps deglaze this pan. With the juice and the acid hits the pan, just works wonders. And it lifts all that sediment off the bottom of the pan. So, in they go. And it really won't take long until the tomatoes start to cook down, release all the flavour, deglaze the pan as I mentioned, and started to loosen the roux, so we're already getting to that sauce-like stage. Now next the recipe calls for a white stock. Depends what you're going to have with the sauce as to what stock you'd want to use. It's always good to try and pair your protein or your meal with the stock that you use it. So I'm going to go with some chicken stock. And just like before, we're just going to slowly add in the liquor, bit at a time. Now with each addition of the stock, it's going to get redder and redder and redder with each reduction. The longer you can cook it, the redder it's going to be. So this one really is a labour of love. And out of the 5 is probably the one that takes the longest in terms of the cooking time anyway. Now that's all my stock into the pan. And you can probably see it's already starting to take on a much deeper red colour. So we know it's on the right track. Final thing, good season. Always need a good season. And then the last thing, just finish off with a tablespoon of sugar. Now I'm going to let this simmer down for around about an hour and a half. I'm going to come back to it every 10-15 minutes or so. give it a little bit of TLC and just watch how it matures. Alright, so after 2 hours, this sauce is almost finished. All the veg that was in there, it's all broken down so you can barely see it really. And there's the odd little bit, but it's mostly all disappeared and worked its way nicely into the sauce. So what we're going to do now, we're going to grab a pan and a chinois. I'm going to try and do this without chucking it all over the island. We're just going to pass this sauce through the chinois. So by doing this, we're just taking away any solids left in the sauce. So end up with a lovely smooth finish. And once you've got as much through as possible, let's get rid of that. You end up with this lovely smooth silky sauce. Now I've just checked that for seasoning, but that's absolutely spot on, so I'm going to leave it here. And that is a classic tomato sauce. So now we've completed the 5th and final mother sauce. We're all ready to move on to our practice dishes, which we will over the next couple of weeks. So, bit of homework, have a go at this sauce, go have a practice at some of the others. The more you practice, the more they'll become second nature. If you're unsure about any of them, use this video as a resource and just check back every now and again. Make sure you're on track. Don't forget to let me know what you think of the different camera angle, whether it's helped or not. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.